especially in a 1-0 game. All of those base runners matter. So hopefully we get a hitter can kind of step up here and advance these runners.
As Koharski delivers. And now we're sitting at a count of 2-2. Koharski ready with the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And for Koharski, that's his 5th strikeout through 2 2/3 innings. That'll bring up Callum Kelly. With 1 on, 2 away. And Kelly makes contact. That one's going to get through the infield out to center, and that's going to put runners at first and second with 2 away. And that will bring up Tyler Smith.
Number 79, Tyler.
Big at bat here.
Tyler White, excuse me, sorry.
2 outs. Runners going to be moving on contact. Ball to the outfield. Could tie this game up.
Swing and a miss, and the ball's going to get away from the catcher. And that will allow the runners to advance. So now 2 in scoring position with the 0-1 count. That one misses high, and it runs 1-1.
So we don't have a relatively big backstop here, but anything that shoots away, you could probably see Hammonds Plains being aggressive and trying to tie this up.
As we got Tammy Langlois saying she's watching all the way from Kingston, Ontario. Thanks, Tammy. Cheering on Nate Moulton and the Hammonds Plains A's. There's a foul off the end of the bat. Staying alive by making contact there with that one.
A little bit of a different pitch there from our pitcher. I think he tried to mix it up.
Going a little bit off speed there and misses a little bit outside. Count runs full. That one's fouled off just behind us here, our broadcast position over on the third base side. Count will remain full with 2 away, 2 on here, top of inning number 3, and the Dartmouth Arrows, who are the home team in this game, leading by a score of 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and a big time to get your 6th strikeout of the game to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base. We've played 2.5, and it's still the Dartmouth Arrows up 1-0. And for the Arrows, they'll be back in action in the next game at 1 o'clock, but that'll be over on Eisenhower Field, which we will not be broadcasting. And for the A's, they will be right back at it on this field at 1 o'clock against Newfoundland and Labrador. And we will have all of the games from this field. All the games from Eisenhower are not going to be available for broadcast, unfortunately. We only had 1 set of gear, and when you got 2 fields and 1 set of gear, the math makes it pretty easy to figure out what's going to happen. Just a quick check of the social media. And no, Dartmouth's the home team in this game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because we're going into the bottom of the 3rd. Yeah.
I wasn't sure because I thought Hammonds Plains won the full thing.
Yeah.
Also, they would have been Nova Scotia 1, are they not?
Yes, they are. Nova Scotia 1.
Is this away and then
That's that's home.
Okay.
Because Dartmouth's got last bats, so. Yeah, because I think because they're the host team.
Okay.
Even though I don't know.
Leading off the bottom of the third for Dartmouth, number 16, Jaden Hall.
So we are going into the bottom of the third. Jaden Hall, Sam Pecknick, and Sasha Christie due up for the Arrows. So Jaden Hall to lead things off here. And if anybody gets on, then we're back around to the top of the order. And that one sent foul. Oh. So again ahead in the count for the A's. Van Polgeest. And that one catches the outside corner. He's now up 0-2 on Jaden Hall. The lefty makes contact down to the third base, and the throw just a little bit high, and that's going to allow Hall to get down to second, and he's in there safely. Might have been able to beat out the throw anyway. He was hustling down that first baseline.
Yeah, he was definitely putting the effort in there. That was one of those balls. It was hugging the line the whole way. It could have easily went foul, but it did stay in play, and there was a little bit of an overthrow. So I think he would have made it in there anyways, but he did advance on that the overthrow at first base.
So that brings up Sam Pecknick with a runner now on second, as the throw allows Hall to get to second base. And that one sent out into the outfield, down the right field line. One run will score, and Pecknick with the RBI double. And the Arrows now lead it 2-0.
They're being aggressive, those first pitch hits again. So that's, I think, the third double now of the game for Dartmouth. So they're definitely being aggressive.
And that'll bring up Sasha Christie. Christie swings and misses. And the count goes 0-1 with a runner on second, as Pecknick traded places with Hall with that RBI double down the right field line. That one just misses inside, and the count goes 1-1.
Ball got past the pitcher, but not far enough for the runner to advance. Still no outs, runner at second base, one run in.
And obviously with this tournament, the format being what it is, you play a full round robin of the five teams. So you play 4 games, one against each team. And the top 2 teams will play the championship game on Sunday. If we have a tie for second and third, then we have a tiebreaker game before the championship game. But obviously you want to try and go through with as clean a record as possible, so you don't have to worry about any sort of tiebreaker scenario. Keep your fate in your own hands for as long as possible by winning everything. So even though this is the first game on Friday morning, it's just as important as the last game Saturday afternoon will be. That one fouled right at us. What did we ever do to you?
I think that's the 5th one hit over our way since it's only the 3rd inning. So. Yeah, absolutely. So when you get a tournament like this, every single game, there's ground ball to third base, checks the runner, throw to first.
And now the runner gets back over. Good aggressive run there by Pecknick to make sure that as soon as that ball was thrown, he was off to get to third, advancing on the ground ball. And that brings us back around to the top of the order, and Colby O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, being aggressive on that play, you could tell he definitely wants to get home. So in a tournament like this, you absolutely want to try and win every single game. There's other formats where you're not putting as much. You might be able to take a game off, but in this format here, it's definitely go at every team and try to finish 1 and 2 to go right to that gold medal.
And we will have, if there is a tiebreaker game, we will have the tiebreaker game. There's a foul tip straight back into the screen, almost directly at our camera, and we've got the camera set up as close to the screen as possible so that we get as little of the fence in there. But if they hit the camera, Brian, if you're watching, You told me to put the camera as close to the screen as I could get it, so it's not my fault. Swing and a miss, strike 3 for the second out.
A big strikeout there. Now we got 2 outs. See if they can strand this runner here to third base and get back into it.
And that brings Bryce Bowie up to the plate. He struck out in the first, so 0 for 1 on the morning. And gets that one. It goes just over the head of the second baseman. That's going to score a run. So Bowie with the RBI single. And it's now 3-0.
Again, another first pitch hit. So they're definitely not waiting. As soon as they get one that they can hit, they're putting a good cut on it.
And that brings up Jack Baldwin. He grounded into a double play to end the first. Swing and a miss there, and the count 0-1. So Bowie, a big RBI single there to extend the lead to 3. And that one fouled back into the trees at this beautiful LaPierre field. It's the first time I've had a chance to be down to this diamond, and it really is in great shape. The crew have done a great job on this diamond. It looks superb.
Yeah, it's been a few years for me also, and you could tell the grounds crew here has done a phenomenal job, and seeing all of our sponsors out in the O field, it definitely brought the ballpark together.
And got to give a big shout out as well to the parents of the Hammonds Plains team, as they are the host team. Oh, great effort there to try and get on that ball. Third baseman Chase Leslie did everything he could to try to get that ball before it hit the ground, but it just snuck in. And so an infield single for Baldwin keeps the inning going. That's going to bring up Reed LaRue.
Game of inches. It looked like it almost hit off the end of his glove.
Yeah. LaRue got on with a hit in the second inning, came around to score, and blasts this one out into left field. That's going to bring in 1 run, and then a bit of an off-target throw.
Allowed both runners to advance.
Another run, or gets the runners now to second and third. Bowie came around to score, and it's now 4-0. And that'll bring up Brady Bush to the plate.
Number 34, Brady Bush.
We got a mount visit here for Hammonds Plains. Still no activity down in the bullpen, so they have confidence in their pitcher here to try and get out of this.
So to reset, Jack Baldwin is at third, Reed LaRue at second, 2 away, 3 runs already in here in the bottom of the third inning, and Brady Bush stepping up to the plate. First pitch swinging, and the shortstop, Seth O'Leary, able to make the play to end the inning. But Dartmouth gets 3 more on the board, and the Arrows now lead it by a score of 4-0 heading into the 4th inning. For Hammonds Plains, it's going to be Jacob McNair, and then back around to the top of the order for Carter Curtin and Ethan O'Coin in the top of the 4th to try and get back. And obviously a 4-run lead, you're not going to get it all back with one swing of the bat, so it's a matter of just starting to try and chip away and get some confidence. Pick up a run or two here, pick up a run or two in the next one, and just keep going.
Absolutely. You know, this is one of those things you can't look at the score and try and get all those runs back at once. But, you know, one here and there, you can definitely make a ball game of it.
As we did see the Arrows had another pitcher warming up earlier, but it is Nate Koharski still out there on the mound. So they're going to stick with Koharski. And one of these times I will actually figure out what I'm doing with these cameras and switching from one to the other. We'll get her sorted eventually. And as I don't know how, I can certainly hear it in my headset. I don't know how well it's carrying over the air, but you can hear a little bit of wind being picked up by our microphones here as it's picking up a little bit. It's a chilly morning, not incredibly cold, but chilly enough that you know, you're not going to have to worry about players overheating at any point in this one, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. And we're looking up in the skies, and we do see some, you know, there's some dark patches here. So hopefully the rain does hold off, and we're able to go. There's no delays throughout the weekend. I know in the past few weekends at our provincial championships, there has been some participation, but or precipitation, but there is no. Hopefully, there is none this weekend.
First pitch to McNair doesn't miss by much, but it does just miss. So McNair goes ahead in the count 1-0 as we play here in the top of the fourth inning. And that one misses low, and it's now 2-0 on the lefty for the Hammonds Plains A's. There's a strike right at the bottom of the zone, and the count runs to 2-1. As that one comes down in foul territory on the third base side.
It's another pop-up heading over towards our side.
Yeah. So are we getting danger pay?
Well, I'm definitely going to have a chat with somebody after this game.
That one misses high, and the count runs to 3-1. Or, sorry, 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. And Nate Koharski now, that gives him 7 strikeouts through 3 1/3, brings us back around to the top of the order. Carter Curtin, who led off the game with a double, and pops that one up. And it comes down in foul territory. And again, not too far from our broadcast location here.
Good chance there, getting a quick second out there, but just overran the foul ball a little bit and just wasn't able to get back in time.
That one misses high, and the count goes to 1-1. It was good hustle there by Haggerty to try to get over to get to it, but yeah, as you said, just overran it a little. There's a strike, and the count goes 1-2. On a day like today where you've got such a blanket gray sky overhead, does it make it a little more difficult to pick up the ball on a pop fly like that?
It definitely could. You know, having that the white sky with the clouds, it could definitely you know, overshadow the baseball up there. But you know, you definitely don't have to worry about battling the sun in this situation.
There is that, as that one gets sent out into right or left field, excuse me. And so a 1-out single for Carter Curtin. He goes to 2 for 2 on the day, and that'll bring up Ethan O'Coin. One on, one out, top of the fourth. Arrows up 4-0. And first pitch swinging, and that one's going to go out into left field and drop in as well. So O'Coin with the single, and that puts runners at first and second with one away.
Hammonds Plains, you know, putting a little bit of pressure on, going base by base with their singles. Hopefully they're able to scratch out at least one here.
As Koharski gets himself settled in. Ready to face Haverstock. Haverstock struck out his first time up. First pitch swinging. Over to second base. Throw to first. Pulls him off the bag, and that will load the bases. The throw just a little bit high there from the second baseman, Sam Pecknick, excuse me. And so now bases loaded, one away, and Cameron Bailey with a chance to drive a couple in. But before that, we're going to have a quick little chat at the mound.
Hustle from the runner there going to first base, put the pressure on the fielder there, made a high throw, and the first baseman just came off the bag. So now we have bases loaded with one out. Big opportunity here for Hammonds Plains.
Cameron Bailey stepping in. And
first pitch swinging.
Oh. It ends up hitting the runner. So
tough luck. The nice ground ball up the middle and just hit the foot of the base runner there for the second out of the inning. One runner did come in though.
So Carter Curtin comes in to score. So that leaves us with runners on first and second, and now two out. And that one misses inside. Seth O'Leary led off the second with a strikeout his first time up. So O'Leary 0 for 1 on the day.
Big at-bat here. Puts the ball in play. Pitcher steps and throws to first base for the third out of the inning.
But Hammonds Plains does pull back one. They get one run in the top of the fourth. So after 3.5, it is the Dartmouth Arrows 4, Hammonds Plains A's 1. We head to the bottom of the fourth, where it will be Ethan Parsons, Nate Koharski, and Jace Haggerty due up for the Arrows. Leave it like that. Do this. Check that.
For Hammonds Plains in the top of the fourth, they scored 1 run on 3 hits. There was 1 error. 2 runners left on base.
So 1 run on 3 hits and 1 error as our official scorekeeper, keeping us up to date on the hits versus the errors and whatnot. And there we have our update, and out there for another inning of work is Lucas Van Polgeest, as he hasn't pitched badly. He's given up 4 runs in 3 innings pitched so far, but he really has not pitched badly at all.
No, definitely not. You know, he's one of those pitchers. He's pitching to contact. He's putting the ball, in the zone. But Dartmouth is, doing a good job being aggressive. And it's put the bat on the ball, get the ball in play, and anything can happen. We've seen it in the first, 3.5 innings so far that anything can happen in this game if the ball's in play.
Absolutely.
So we see there is a little bit of stir down in the Hammonds Plains bullpen.
It looks like it is, just double checking the number, Carter Curtin going in to warm up there. So Curtin looking to be the next pitcher to come in, possibly for the A's, and we also see that the Arrows look like they might be sending somebody down to warm up as well.
Brady Bush going back down for the Arrows to get warm. Not sure if he's going to start the next inning, but definitely getting warm for the opportunity to get in.
Ethan Parsons with the swing at the first pitch, misses for a strike. Nice smooth swing though. Another smooth swing, but misses again, and the count goes to 0-2. There we go. Gets a piece of that one, and the count remains 0-2. One thing I like about his swing, you can see that his whole body is in it. He's not just trying to use the upper body. He's getting the legs involved as well.
Absolutely. He does have a big, long, strong swing. You could tell if he does make contact, it's going to go a long way. He's behind the count now. Hopefully he can battle back and get something to hit.
Here comes the 1-2. And he does make contact, and it gets just past the second baseman out into right field. So a single for Ethan Parsons leading off the fourth, excuse me, and that'll bring up Nate Koharski. Koharski popped out to the second baseman his first time up. Koharski coming up here with nobody on, one away. One on, nobody away.
And we got a
that
pass
one
ball.
misses inside, gets by the catcher, and Ethan Parsons able to make his way down to second base.
And just like that, we got a runner in scoring position. So I believe every inning so far, Dartmouth has had runners on base.
Yes, they have. There's a swing and a miss, and the count goes 0-1. They did put only 3 batters up in the first inning because of the double play, but they have had runners on every inning. Foul tip.
I think the umpire caught a little bit of that foul ball.
Yeah. And the count goes to 1-2.
Didn't seem to phase him. Ooh,
swing and a miss, strike 3. And that is the 4th strikeout of the afternoon or of the morning, thrown by Lucas Van Polgeist, and that'll bring up Jace Haggerty. Haggerty singled to, and I believe he drove in the run in the second inning, if memory serves. There we go. And that one goes foul.
Foul ball down to that bullpen side, so that's where we see that the spotter down there always making sure the pitcher's covered with those foul balls.
As Carter Curtin continues to warm up down in the A's bullpen. Swing and a miss there. And the count now 1-2. That one misses inside, and the count goes to 2-2. So for both of these teams, they'll be right back on the field again at 1 o'clock. And for Dartmouth, I believe they're playing a team that's in action right now over at Eisenhower. But for the A's, they're going to be playing Newfoundland Labrador, which is the one team that's not playing right now in this 10 o'clock time slot. Is it, as we get a called third strike, so the 5th K of the morning. And that'll bring up Tyler Wolf. Wolf grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. Is it an advantage to be playing in your second game back-to-back against a team that hasn't had that action yet? Or do you come in a little more rested, or as that grounder ends up eating up the third baseman, Tyler White, and so that'll load the bases, that'll put runners at the corners with 2 away and Jaden Hall up to bat.
So you always try to think, especially the teams coming from away, you know, Newfoundland being their first game, but they have also had to do a little bit of traveling before to see if they need some time to, we got a ground ball here to shortstop.
Playing second, but not able to make the catch and hold the ball was Callum Kelly. And so that'll bring a run home.
Another instance of putting the ball in play. So yeah, we just have to see how much rust Newfoundland can get off with those travels. But you know, it could be an advantage for Hammonds Plains having, you know, being already in a game. Those nerves are gone, already warmed up, you know, ready to go. So it could be either way. Newfoundland could come out hot, you know, being well rested and fresh, or they could have the little bit of travel rust still on them and need a little time to get going.
Sam Pecknick at the plate. He had an RBI double his first time up. Has a chance to drive in another here with runners on first and second and 2 away.
Another aggressive first pitch swing.
That one misses high, and the count goes to 1-1. Good contact there. That one
over the head of the
over
center
the head
fielder.
Of the center fielder. That's going to score 2. A 2-run double for Sam Pecknick. That gives him 3 RBI on the day. And it's not even 11 o'clock in the morning yet, and he's got 3 RBI for the day. I'd call that a good day no matter what he does for the rest of this game and the next one.
He's definitely got these arrows fired up.
2 runs come in to score, so the score now goes to 7-1 in favor of the Dartmouth Arrows. And we're going to see the pitching change, as ready to come in is Carter Curtin. And we talked about it previously that Van Polgeest hadn't pitched badly, really, but a little bit of bad luck and a couple of bounces not going his team's way. He could have a very different pitching line if not for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he did his job. He put the ball in play. I don't think he gave up a walk today. So you know, he did his job, but you know, like we said earlier, it's a game of inches. The ball can go, you know, any direction, be caught, or, you know, the way that it went today, you know, the inch in the other direction, and it's over someone's head. So I definitely not the outing of what the score looks like, but he definitely threw well. But unfortunately, it's one of those days where the ball just wasn't going where it needed to go.
So Carter Curtin comes in to take over on the mound, and he comes in with 2 away and a runner on second base. And just watching Curtin here with his warm-up, a bit of a different delivery style. He brings that arm way up over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. A little different than our first pitcher here. He's got definitely a long arm on the backside, but we'll see how it affects these Arrows hitters.
And that release point much higher than it was for Van Polgeest, so they're going to have to adjust their eyes accordingly to find that ball coming out of the hand. That one misses outside, and that's going to allow for Pecknick to get over to third.
First 2 pitches missing relatively high, so hopefully he can bring it down a little bit. Maybe a little bit of nerves kicking in for being his first appearance at Atlantics, but he does come back with a strike.
And the count goes to 2-1. Sasha Christie up at the plate. He grounded out to third his first time up. That one misses outside, and the count goes to 3-1. As I felt a couple drops hit my forehead, but fingers crossed it's not much more than that. And there's the walk to Sasha Christie, which brings us back around to the top of the order. And Colby O'Shaughnessy, who's 1 for 2 on the day, comes up with runners on the corners. And 2 away here, bottom of the 4th inning.
I believe that's only one of the first, if not the first walk of the game. So taking some pitches. Might have one more earlier in the game.
I think we had one, yeah. One that Hammonds Plains drew.
So that's always good. You always want to keep, as a pitcher, keep those walks down, give them the free bases.
There's a swing and a miss. 0-2 the count on Colby O'Shaughnessy.
I think he's found his groove.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that will do it for the bottom of the 4th inning, but 3 more runs on the board for the Dartmouth Arrows. We've played 4 complete, and it is Dartmouth 7, Hammonds Plains 1. Due up for the A's in the top of the 5th. We are going to see Jackson Stewart, Nathan Moulton, and Lucas Van Polgeest. So do that, change that to a 5. Sorry, I'm sort of, if I don't say it out loud as I'm doing all these things, I know I'll miss a step somewhere, so don't mind my muttering.
Nate Kaharski's still on the mound, warming up there, even though we did have some activity in the bullpen. They're elected to keep him in. He seems to be in a good groove here, so you might as well keep him going.
Yeah, I mean,
And that inning was sponsored by Master Tech.
and at this point, I think he's at at the number of pitches where he's not going to be available to pitch again this weekend anyway, so get as many as you can out of him.
Absolutely. He's definitely getting that threshold if he isn't there yet where he definitely won't be able to throw tomorrow. It's questionable. I'm not 100% sure on his pitch count on 4 for Sunday, but he's definitely up there. So I believe he's close. Just found out he's close to 70, I believe. So I believe he will be done for the weekend, which is, coming out, throwing the way he is, getting his team, in the game, keeping the score down to 1 run for this aggressive Hammonds Plains team. So he's definitely done his job thus far.
Absolutely. And first pitch swinging is Jackson Stewart, and he fouls that one back. Stewart, one of the 7 strikeout victims of Koharski so far. And this time it's not going to be a strikeout, it's going to be a fly ball out into right field, and what a catch by the right fielder. As Ethan Parsons making the nice catch out there in right for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Nathan Moulton, who popped out to Koharski his first time up back in inning number 2. Fouls the first pitch back, and the count 0-1.
Right fielder taking a good route to that ball, was able to camp under it and get both hands up there to secure that catch.
That one just misses, and the count goes to 1-1.
Hammonds Plains trying to cheer on their hitters here to get something going.
And down by 6, they're certainly not rolling over. They're still going up there and taking their hacks. That one's going to miss outside, and the count goes to 3-1.
A little bit of cheer, a little bit of heckling here could definitely take or put some pressure on the Dartmouth pitcher here. So they're trying to take a different approach here and get base runners any way they can.
And that one just misses high, and there is a walk.
And just like that, we have a base runner.
And so we're going to see a pitching change as Nate Koharski, here being referred to as Coho, as he heads back into the bench. So Coho doing a pretty good job out there, and
absolutely did everything the team asked him for. Pitching into the 5th inning there with a 7-1 lead, limiting these Hammonds Plains hitters to 1 run.
And Brady Bush will take over on the mound after 4 1/3 very good innings from Nate Koharski. And if that, obviously, as we talked about, that will be his pitching performance of the weekend. You got to figure he's going to be very happy with the pitching performance that he had for this whole weekend, one way or another.
Absolutely. If that's his only outing of the weekend, he definitely did his job, and he should be very proud of what he did today. Now he needs to shift over to the opposite side and still focus on his hitting and his defense to help all of his other pitchers out.
We have pitch count limits in youth baseball for a very good reason, but we don't have same sort of pitch count limitations at the NCAA level. And I have seen and heard a lot of stories about pitchers at that level getting worn out to the point where they really can't make it as a pro because they get overused by their coaches at the NCAA level. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether something like that should be instituted at that level, because, I mean, you're still talking about 18, 19, 20-year-old young men whose arms haven't fully grown into their potential.
Absolutely. And, Baseball Canada has done a good job in the past few years of the LTAD, which is the long-term athletic development, to really put this in place to keep our athletes healthy as long as possible. Unfortunately, even at, you had mentioned NCAA level, but even at the younger levels down in the States, they don't have these pitch count rules. So, young kids like this, they are thrown into the hundreds, 120, 130 pitches per game, and it does take a lot of toll on the bodies.
There's a strike. The pitch does get away just a little bit from the catcher, Jack Baldwin, and that allows Moulton to get up to second base.
So I feel as though, there definitely needs to be something put in place. And if you do look at some of the numbers down the States, the injury age keeps getting lower and lower. As we have a foul ball here down the right side, it does go foul. They do definitely need to put something in because these injury ages keep getting younger and younger down the States, as baseball develops down there every year, there's always more and more, and it seems that they're definitely pushing these kids further and further. So I feel as though Baseball Canada and Baseball Nova Scotia has done a really good job right across the country of making sure that these policies are in place to make sure these kids stay as healthy as long as possible.
So if you're the parent of an 18, 19-year-old kid who's thinking about going down to the States to play NCAA ball or staying home to play U18 or U19 ball at a high level here in Canada, is that something you're thinking about as a parent to say, maybe I don't want my son to go play down there?
So we get a big backwards K there from Brady Bush. It's definitely something in the back of your mind, but parents are kind of hoping at that level that there is, and it's not saying it's always a bad thing with pitch count as long as you're conditioned to do so. There's a lot of athletes out there that are not conditioned, and it does do a lot of toll on their bodies. But if these athletes are conditioned to throw that many, then definitely, it shouldn't be a worry for the parents. But the opportunities for these players to get to that next level is definitely, amplified when they do go south of the border rather than in Canada. So I feel as though that's why they do go down that way. But definitely, it could be in the back of the minds of the parents, especially at the younger levels. But, as you get a little older, hopefully that those athletes are conditioned.
That one misses a little bit high and outside, and the count goes to 1-2 on Chase Leslie. Leslie singled his first time up back in the third inning. Comes up this time with a runner on second and 2 away. That one misses, and the count goes to 2-2. So an RBI chance here for Leslie if he can get that ball in play, get a single, and possibly bring Nathan Moulton, around to score. As that one sails a little bit high, and that was actually ball 4, so I miscounted somewhere along the way. And because that ball does get past the catcher, Jack Baldwin, that allows Nathan Moulton to get over to third. So runners on the corners with 2 away, which brings up Gabe Neely, who struck out his first time up back in inning number 3. 2 away here, top of the 5th. The Arrows with a commanding 7-1 lead right now, but that one misses high. But as we've seen in the game of baseball many times, a 6-run lead late in a game isn't necessarily always safe.
No, definitely. If you're a Blue Jays fan, you can see that firsthandly. The past couple weeks they've been playing, they've come back some pretty big deficits in the past couple weeks to take leads and actually win games. So, no lead is safe in baseball.
And not only are the Jays doing it, they're doing it with one of the youngest, most entertaining teams I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. The youth coming up through is definitely very special for that team and all the pieces that they brought in to kind of put that team together, and the push that they're making this time of the year is pretty incredible.
There's a swing and a miss.
A big strikeout by Brady Bush to end the inning, straying 2 runners on base.
So no runs, no hits, a pair of walks, leaves 2 on base, and so through 4.5, it remains 7-1 for the Dartmouth Arrows. Due up for the Arrows in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Bryce Bowie, Jack Baldwin, and Reed LaRue.
The pitch count for Dartmouth was 15 for a total of 15.
And so 15 pitches to get the final 2 outs of the inning, and 2 Ks for the new pitcher, Brady Bush, coming in and getting 2 strikeouts. A good start to his outing, certainly, as we see back out on the mound Carter Curtin after he came in and got the 3rd out of the bottom of inning number 4.
Absolutely. These you could tell the nerves aren't really there for these pitchers. They're coming out and firing strikes, which is really good. Good to see at this level.
And again, a reminder that if you want to send us a message, you can tweet to us at PetterPC_sports, Petter Pictou Sports, which is the business that I run up in Pictou County, where I mostly broadcast hockey, but every now and then I get a chance to do baseball, which, you know, two very differently paced games. One where you feel like you can never stop talking because the things are constantly happening. In baseball, it's a little bit more relaxed. Still a great game, still a great pace to the game, but not quite as much effort on the throat as doing a hockey game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? Even at this level, this 11U AAA, this pace is fairly quick. You start getting higher up in the levels, the players definitely like to take a little more time, you know, in the batter's boxes, on the mound, and you do have a lot more time in between. But this 11U AAA championship right now, the pace has actually been very good. So, you know, they're coming in, throwing first pitch strikes and swinging at first pitches, so they're ready to go.
And first pitch to Bryce Bowie misses low, so the count goes to 1-0. Bowie had an RBI single in the third, struck out back in the first, so he comes in 1 for 2. Also came around to score in that third inning. So drove in 1 and scored 1 as part of that 3-run third. Another 3 runs went up in the fourth for the Arrows. Talking about pace of play, you know, you see some of the things that Major League Baseball has tried to do to speed up the game a little bit. Are you in favor of some sort of a pitch clock to try and keep the game moving?
So I know, you know, at every level, we get a ground ball here to shortstop. Oh, bobbles a little bit, and runner gets on first base. You know, the baseball definitely can become a longer game. I do not mind some type of, you know, system where to get the things going, but some of the ideas that they're coming up with to kind of change the game, I think they're taking a little too far, but that's why it's their job and not mine.
And that one's going to get away from the catcher just far enough that Bryce Bowie able to get over to second base. Jack Baldwin now ahead in the count as well. Baldwin 1 for 2, grounded into a double play back in the first and singled in the third.
A little slip on the mound by the pitcher there, but we're going to get back into things here. I don't think there's any box at this level, so he gets a fresh redo on the pitch.
That one popped almost straight up into the air. It's actually going to come down just over in foul territory on the first base side. And I kind of like that there's no box at this level because it gives the pitchers a chance to learn rather than be penalized for a potential mistake. As another one gets away from the catcher there.
Absolutely. You know, your number one thing here as a pitcher at this level is throwing strikes. When you got to start worrying about other things like box, you could definitely, you know, get into the mindset of, you know, thinking of other things other than throwing the ball to your catcher.
As that one is through the infield out to center. And an RBI single there for Jack Baldwin. And that will make it 8-1. And bring Reed LaRue up to the plate. That one misses outside, and LaRue ahead in the count. LaRue 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. Scored his run in the second, excuse me. It was the first run of the game, and then drove in a run in the second. That one to second base. Out at second, they get the lead runner, and I went to the wrong camera.
Now batting number 34, Brady Boyd.
So fielder's choice for LaRue. Baldwin retired at second, And with one away, that brings up Brady Bush, who is 1 for 2 himself. That one misses, and LaRue ahead in the count, or Bush, excuse me, ahead in the count here, 1-0. As the first baseman makes the catch on the pop out for the second out of the inning, and good loud calling of that ball by the first baseman Nash Haverstock to make sure there was no doubt who was going to take that play. And that will bring up Ethan Parsons. Parsons singled and came around to score in the fourth, struck out back in the second. Takes the first pitch high, ball 1. That one misses low, and Parsons ahead in the count, 2-0. Oh, there's a line shot out to center, all the way to the fence. Coming around to third is LaRue, and Parsons at second with the double.
Number 12, Nate Koharski.
And that'll bring up Nate Koharski. He's 0 for 2 on the day, but his big contribution was 4 1/3 innings of stellar pitching. Swings and misses at the first one there in the count, 0-1.
Dartmouth's surely flexing their muscles in this game. I believe that's either the 4th or 5th double they've shown they've hit so far in this game. So they're definitely putting the ball in play and finding the holes to advance these runners. Runners at second and third now, 2 in scoring position. Chance to put 2 more on the board.
As that one sails all the way to the backstop and getting in just under the tag. It was a close play at the plate there, but LaRue able to slide in just under the tag. And Parsons also able to advance to third on that one, and so the score now goes to 9-1.
Yeah, being such a short backstop, they did have a good chance of getting them there, but the throw from the catcher was a little high to the pitcher and wasn't able to get his glove down to put the tag on.
That one out into center field, and that will do it for the third out of the inning. But Dartmouth gets 2 more on the board. They score 2 on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. We've played 5 complete. It is now 9-1 for the Dartmouth Arrows over the Hammonds Plains A's. We'll head into the 6th. Due up in the top of the 6th, it's Callum Kelly, Tyler White, and Jacob McNair. Just coming back to the pace of play that we were talking about earlier, the thing that drives me a little bit stir-crazy is anytime you see Red Sox-Yankees on the schedule, you know that's going to be a 4 to a 4.5 hour game. For some reason, those two teams just cannot play against each other in a quick fashion.
Absolutely. Those are, but you know what? Sometimes as a fan, those are the ones that you're willing to sit around for 4 hours and watch. There's definitely a lot of heckling, a lot of back and forth, but that, especially when you got a rivalry like that, it keeps the intensity up and keeps all the fans in the game.
It does for sure. It just, as someone who, has to get up and teach the next morning, sometimes it's okay when it's the 2 o'clock start, but when it's the 8 o'clock at night start, that's.
Absolutely. And being here on the East Coast, we always get sucked into these late games.
Yeah.
It's a little different when you're on the West Coast. You do have those 5 o'clock starts where the game's over by 9 o'clock, but sometimes here they don't start till around 10 o'clock. So
Yeah.
I know some of these teams after good long games, they do sometimes put out posts where you can sign your name and give it to your boss saying, I was up watching this game, and maybe depending on your boss, it may give you at least a half a day off.
Well, unfortunately, you know, in my other life, I'm a teacher, so that
Yeah, that makes it tough.
my principal and my students will never let me slide on that one. Well, some of the kids might let me slide if I let them slide, right? So, Callum Kelly up to bat here. He was able to reach on a double his first time up. Takes a strike, and the count goes to 0-1. As they're trying to reposition the defense. That one gets by, and the count goes to 1-1. And that was Colby O'Shaughnessy out in center that they were working on getting his attention. There he is, just on the right of your screen as you're looking now. That one misses outside, and the count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, playing relatively deep in center field. They're showing a little respect for this hitter here. See if he can take one for a ride here and prove his strength. They're going to pop up to shortstop here.
And getting out to make the catch is the shortstop, Tyler Wolf, for the first out of the inning.
Nice play over his shoulder to make the catch in the first out of the inning. It's always good getting that first out of the inning to kind of limit that no-out rally.
And that'll bring up Tyler White. He's 0 for 1 on the day. As these defenses, they're repositioning the defense for both of these hitters in this inning to go the opposite way, not to pull the ball.
Yeah, the little bit more velocity with this pitcher here. Anticipating the
but that one's going to end up going all the way to the fence. Ends up hitting the fence before hitting the ground. What a shot there by Tyler White.
Yes,
as he launches that double.
Missing a home run by about 3 or 4 feet there. Definitely the alignment wasn't playing in their favor on that one. He did turn on that one and drove it off the fence in left field.
And here comes Jacob, apparently known as Fun Guy McNair. I hope that's a reference to his ability to be entertaining, not a reference to mushrooms and whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe he likes mushrooms on pizza. I don't know. There we go. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count. Different types of fungi, I know. It's the teacher in me. I have to.
As the entire Hammonds Plains team is yelling out Fun Guy to get him all rallied up for a big hit here. Trying to switch places with the runner at second base. Chip away at this lead.
Swing and a miss. And, you know, we've said it a lot about both of these teams. The pitcher or the hitters are not going up there passively. They are willing to take their cuts. That one misses outside, and the count runs full.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm liking this, though. Yeah.
And here comes the 3-2 pitch, one away here, top of the 6th inning. And contact made over to the third baseman. Throw across. Does not get there in time. Good hustle by Fun Guy. And the infield single puts runners at the corners.
A little ball by the third baseman there. Just enough time to allow the runner to get there safely.
And we're going to see a pitching switch here so that Brady Bush will be available again later. And the ball being given to Jace Haggerty. So Haggerty will take over on the mound. And so we got one complete inning out of Brady Bush. He pitched 2/3 in the 5th inning and then 1/3 here in the 6th for one complete inning.
And this inning
2 strikeouts, 1 pop out. He gave up 2 hits and a walk, and is still responsible for both runners on the corners as we head back to the top of the order for the A's. Carter Curtin will be the first batter to be faced by the new Arrow pitcher. And again, that new Arrow pitcher is Jace Haggerty. Reminder, our next game is a scheduled 1 o'clock start. It'll be these A's again as they take on the team from Newfoundland, Labrador, who are based out of, as I double check, St. John's, I do believe. And a bit of a neat story about the St. John's Capitals in our tournament program here. And I will bring it up again during their game, but it's such a good story I want to share it in this one as well. This past summer, an umpire in St. John's was hit in the head by a line drive during a game, and he had to be taken away from the field by an ambulance. After a couple of weeks, he wanted to get back into umpiring, but the Caps wanted to do something to help him out as well, so they set up a fundraiser and presented him with the monies raised. And, you know, it's stories like that. Ooh. As nearly a calamity for the pitcher and the first baseman, but making the catch there was Jace Haggerty for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, making a good acrobatic catch over his shoulder and avoiding the first baseman aggressively running in after that ball also. 1 pitch, 1 out.
And a second pitch, but that one is going to fall into the outfield. And that will score a run, so Ethan O'Coin didn't even have time to introduce him. And O'Coin gets an RBI single, and it's now 9-2. As that one's going to drop in out in center. 1 run will score. And a double for Nash Haverstock. And just like that, you blink and all of a sudden it goes from 9-1 to 9-3.
Jace coming in throwing strikes. He's thrown 3 pitches now to 3 different batters. We've had a pop-up to himself and 2 hits. So he's definitely coming in throwing strikes, but these Hammonds Plains hitters are being awfully aggressive on these first pitches and putting the ball in play.
And so that'll bring up Cameron Bailey. And that one misses, and the count goes to 1-0 on Cameron Bailey. Swing and a miss there, and it's 1-1. But just coming back to that story of the Caps and raising money for the umpire, you know, so, too many times you hear about the clashes between players and umpires, and that's just a great story to see that, you know, they stepped up to help out a guy who obviously needed a little bit of help there after taking a line drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having to be taken away by ambulance.
Absolutely. Every time you think of, you know, it's always umpires versus players and umpires versus coaches. But, you know, in this instance, you know, they all came together and, you know, and did a little bit of fundraising for this umpire to kind of help him out while he wasn't able to do his duties on the field, which is great by the Capitals. It's a good story to hear.
And a strikeout ends the inning. So Hammonds Plains does pick up a couple of runs, but not enough, as they get 2 in the top of the 6th. Oops, I never did change that to 6 on the, here we go, 6th, there we go. So now that actually goes from being 6 to being final. So your final score, the Dartmouth Arrows with the 9-3 victory over the Hammonds Plains A's. In our tournament opener here, the Arrows go to 1-0, the A's drop to 0-1, and now it's the presentation of the players of the game. For Hammonds Plains, Lucas Van Polgeest, well deserving as he pitched really well. And hard to argue against Nate Koharski with his 4 1/3 innings of great pitching as well.
Absolutely. Both these starting pitchers getting the Player of the Game award, which is really deserved. You know, both of them did their part. Unfortunately for one side, the score was a little different, but they both definitely showed out for the first game of this Atlantic Championship.
So that's going to do it for game number 1. We got a little bit of a break before we get ready for the next one. And so, pretty entertaining start to our tournament.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a game that you want to start off this Atlantic Championship, right? You're having, you know, with our Dartmouth Arrows having a lot of confidence coming out of that, and Hammonds Plains ready to, you know, bear down and kind of get back into the swing of things with Newfoundland at this field next game starting at 1. So hopefully, you know, after a little bit of a break here, both these teams can get back into it, both representing Nova Scotia. They can get back into it and pick up wins in their next game.
So that's going to do it for us here in game number 1. Stick around. We'll be back with you around 1 o'clock for the start of the next one. And I promise the tech will work a little bit better next game as I'll get these cameras figured out once and for all. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back with you at 1.